This evening, first, united or divided? As elections approaches, APNU and AFC extend coalition talks. With major demands still on the table, can the opposition come together in time? Plus, from bold to busted, a man is caught red-handed trying to spend over $250,000 in suspected counterfeit bills. The dramatic arrest and what's next for the suspect. Also speeding into the future. Starting Monday, Guyana rolls out a high-tech speed ticketing system using radar cameras to catch violators from 600 feet away. Traffic chief clears the air on how it works and why there's no more room for excuses. Meanwhile, medical milestone. President Ali opens the College of Medical Sciences at UG with more space and upgraded labs. Guyana's future doctors and nurses now have room to grow. And internationally, tensions rise in the Pacific as China launches another round of military drills near Taiwan, raising global concerns about regional stability. Stay tuned, these stories and more tonight on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for April 2nd, 2025. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, with Ghana's general and regional elections on the horizon, negotiations between a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, and the Alliance for Change, AFC, remain ongoing as both parties work to finalize a potential coalition ahead of the elections. Despite the initial March 31st deadline, sources indicate that the discussions have been positive, but both sides have agreed to extend the talks. APNU leader Aubrey Norton confirmed that the door remains open for a coalition, with AFC expected to submit its proposal in writing before further deliberations. AFC leader Nigel Hughes described the discussions as useful, emphasizing that hope for an agreement remains. The AFC has outlined key conditions for joining forces, including a 60-40 split of government positions in its favor and Hughes as the coalition's presidential candidate. However, APNU, which includes multiple political groups, favors a 70-30 division. Meanwhile, the Working People's Alliance, WPA, is urging both parties to swiftly finalize an agreement, arguing that a united opposition stands the best chance of defeating the ruling People's Progressive Party Civic. WPA's co-leader, Dr. David Hines, stressed the importance of compromise, warning that failure to unite could have long-term consequences for the opposition. With talks still in progress, political observers await a final decision on whether the opposition will contest the elections as a united front. On a different note, police have arrested a 26-year-old man from Friendship Village, East Bagnamarara, after he was found with a significant amount of suspected forged Guyanese currency on Tuesday, April 1st. The suspect, Trishon Stephen Franklin, was taken into custody following a report made by a cashier at Bank CIH Limited, located at Brickdam, Georgetown. According to the cashier, Franklin visited the establishment around 8 a.m. to purchase alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. He reportedly handed her $80,000 in $5,000 bill, which, upon inspection, appeared counterfeit. She immediately reported the incident to the police at the Stabroek Outpost, handed over the suspect's payment, and identified him to authorities. Upon his arrest, police searched a black haversack in Franklin's possession and discovered an additional $180,000 in $5,000 bills suspected to be forged. The total amount of questionable currency seized was $260,000. The police took possession of the suspected counterfeit notes, which were secured in an evidence bag for forensic analysis. Franklin was escorted to the Brickdam police station, where he remains in custody as investigations continue. In other news, starting on Monday, April 7, 2025, traffic enforcement in Guyana will see a significant upgrade with the launch of an automated speeding ticket system. The new system, outlined by Traffic Chief Senior Superintendent Mahendra Singh, uses advanced camera capable of detecting speeding violations of up to 600 feet away.
So all in all, it's a win-win for us and even the public, because what this does is that it tells you you need to make an adjustment. And as far as I'm aware, when they see us, the adjustment is only made when you would have seen us on the road in a specific space. But here with the placement of this equipment, which has a reach of at least 500 to 600 feet. Here and now you are placed on the spot. You, the motorist, and you must adjust. It demands that there be an adjustment in the manner in which you drive on the road and the speeds at which you travel.
The Traffic Chief Senior Superintendent cleared public misconceptions about speed cameras and the speed radar signs.
There is some intentional confusion on the part of the road user. There are two things on the roadway that we see right now. One is a speed camera, a speed radar, which is mounted above and across the roadway. That is linked to the ticketing system. That forms the core of the SRIS, or Safe Road Intelligence System. What you are seeing is a speed radar sign, which is mounted along the roadway, maybe on the Heroes Highway, Mandela Circles, Interlink, Schoonard, and on the East Coast, which you see a digital reading of a speed, of a number that is said to be the rate at which you are traveling. That is a traffic calming measure. That is there to alert you that the rate of speed you are traveling at may not necessarily be the rate you should be going based on what is the prevailing speed limit. So what it does is bring you back to the realization that you need to adjust immediately to travel within a certain rate or speed, so to speak.
When a violation occurs, the system automatically generates a ticket with speed and time of the infraction, providing a clear image of the violation. The speeding fine remains at $7,500. In cases where the driver cannot be identified, the vehicle owner will be responsible for identifying the driver to contest the ticket in court with the recent legislative changes.
In the amendment, it catered that the liability is with the owner. It is his or her motor vehicle. At the time of the commission of the offense, the liability still rests with the owner, notwithstanding who's driving. But the amendment catered for that on appearance in court to contest that ticket, the information is provided here as to who was the driver at the time, naturally by the one who is ticketed, so that the court will prepare a summons for that specific person who was driving, because he or she would have been identified by the owner.
Singh highlighted that the system's automated nature ensures consistent and impartial enforcement without the need for manual intervention, reducing the opportunity for manipulation of fines. Motorists will be notified via SMS or email if their contact details are registered with the Guyana Revenue Authority, or a physical ticket will be delivered if they are not.
Immediately on rollout of the project and the program on Monday, some people can expect to receive their tickets almost immediately. And I premise this on the fact that information within the system at the agencies connected would have been updated information. So the phone number is there as well as an email, both active, operationally capable. So you can receive it immediately. Your SMS will tell you. And this may be the only ticket I don't think a winner wishes to have, because this is the only lottery that takes away from you and doesn't present you the opportunity to win.
The system is currently active along the Heroes Highway and other locations, including the east coast of the Marara, with plans for further expansion. This new approach is expected to improve road safety and allow law enforcement to focus resources in areas not covered by speed cameras. Stick around when we return. 25-year-old motorcyclist with no lights and helmet killed in high-speed crash, and President Ali commissions UG's College of Medical Sciences expanding health education capacity.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl, forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. A 25-year-old motorcyclist lost his life in a fatal accident on Tuesday night at the intersection of Amelia's Ward Public Road and Toucan Drive, Linden. The accident, which occurred around 8 p.m., involved motorcar PXX 4611 driven by 69-year-old pensioner Juliet Alexander and motorcycle CN 6284 ridden by Joshua Ross, an unemployed resident of industrial area Linden. According to police investigations, Ross was riding at high speed in a zigzag motion without a safety helmet, with his motorcycle lights off. As Alexander's car stopped and attempted to cross the road, the motorcycle collided with its front left side, throwing Ross several feet from the point of impact. Public-spirited citizens rushed Ross to the Linden Hospital complex, but he was pronounced dead on arrival. His body has been transported to the Linden Senior Citizens Association Funeral Home for a post-mortem examination. The car and motorcycle have been impounded for inspection, and the driver of the vehicle is in police custody assisting with the investigation. Moving on, a new era in medical training begins as President Irfan Ali commissions the College of Medical Sciences at UG. Ruth Pendleton has more on the facility and its impact.
With the increasing demand for health education and medical professionals, President Irfan Ali commissioned the College of Medical Sciences building at the University of Guyana on Tuesday. The project, which began with its sod-turning ceremony in November 2023, encountered several challenges along the way before reaching completion.
We were in the period of COVID at the same time, and many countries were negotiating with the World Bank the reassignment of resources to COVID programs. We were one of the only countries, and the World Bank and IDB will tell you this, who kept our portfolio intact whilst at the same time investing in COVID and developing one of the best COVID response systems here regionally and internationally. When we did that, we were able to keep this project on track. And in what I would say historic time, we rescheduled the implementation timeline. We went on accelerated negotiations, had the project signed and completed, and here we are today. That is the project timeline, and it's important for us to understand that.
The head of state encouraged the students of the college to take advantage of the extensive resources within the institute to support research and enhance the university's standing internationally. Meanwhile, Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, Professor Paloma Mohammed, highlighted that it has taken some 10 years to design, redesign, and adjust the requirements.
Changes have been made, new programs have been added. And in the last 5 years, we expanded our numbers, adding 1,000 students overall a year. One of the only universities in this region to have done that. And it's a slow march to fulfilling the university's first blueprint aspirational goal of at least one graduate per household.
Now, the college would be able to accept 40% more students.
We spoke of the heartache of so many students apply to our medical school every year. Students that we tell, if you work hard, you do well, and you have the grades, this country is going to support your dreams. And then when they would have applied with the grades, we would have had to say to about 2/3 of them, we're sorry, you've made the grade, but we can't take you. We don't have the space. I believe that you, Mr. President, Minister, everybody in this country who holds a position would have had calls from parents begging, crying, students who have indicated they would do anything to get into the medical school. And now, even though we still can't pick every single person who can apply, I'm happy to say that this building today allows us to take in about 40% more students in the medical school than we have been able to take.
Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony highlighted that currently in excess of 3,000 nurses are being trained. This month, 800 nursing assistants will graduate, strengthening the healthcare workforce. Built by Shandong High-Speed Dishang Group Company Limited with funding from the government of Guyana and the World Bank, the facility includes a 200-capacity lecture theater and several science and research laboratories. Reporting for the Headline News, I am Ruth Pendleton.
Thanks, Ruth. The annual National Tushaus Council Conference will take place from May 19th to 23rd, 2025, bringing together leaders of over 200 Amerindian communities to discuss key developmental issues. Minister of Amerindian Affairs, Pauline Sukhai, announced the dates during a community meeting in Akawini Village, Region 2. She urged village councils to engage their communities ahead of the conference to ensure that priority concerns and projects are effectively represented. Vice Chairperson of the National Tushaus Council, Sonia Lachman, emphasized Guyana's commitment to Amerindian consultations, noting that such engagement is rare even in major countries like the U.S. The government has allocated $150 million to support the event, underscoring its dedication to including Indigenous voices in national discussions. The National Tushaus Council Conference serves as a critical platform for Amerindian leaders to directly engage with the President and Cabinet on matters affecting their communities. When the curtains came down on the 2024 National Tushaus Council Conference, some believed it ended with doubts about the government's commitment to indigenous development. While President Irfan Ali touted increased investment and land titling efforts, critics saw those as political gestures lacking lasting impact. Promises of $10 million for infrastructure projects were met with skepticism, especially amid unresolved issues like the Chinese land dispute and the Madhya dormitory fire tragedy. The Minister of Amerindian Affairs had stressed transparency and accountability, but many remained unconvinced that real change would follow. As the 2025 National Tushaus Council Conference approaches, all eyes will be on whether this year's discussion will lead to meaningful action and whether the past promises were fulfilled. Don't go away after the break. Malaysia fire. More than 145 people injured in gas pipeline blaze. And South Korea braces for economic blow as U.S. tariffs target auto exports.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In South America, over 20 Venezuelans under 23 basketball players have approached Spanish police in Barcelona to inquire about asylum, officials confirmed on Tuesday. The players on a European tour stayed behind after exhibition games in Italy and Spain. Venezuela's ongoing political and economic crisis have driven many to seek better opportunities abroad. The team's president acknowledged some players are pursuing permits to join professional clubs, but gave no specifics. Meanwhile, in Asia, countries around the world are bracing for what Donald Trump has called Liberation Day, the introduction of a raft of tariffs on goods imported to the United States that are expected on Wednesday. South Korea is the third largest exporter of vehicles and auto parts to the U.S. The Trump administration's 25% tariffs jeopardize those trade flows worth more than $44 billion a year. Al Jazeera's Jack Barton reports.
Vehicles are South Korea's single largest export to the United States. So, US President Donald Trump's new 25% tariffs are expected to hit hard.
About 50% of our automobile exports go to the United States, so there are concerns about significant damage to the auto industry. These difficulties will be especially severe for not only the finished car manufacturers, but also the part suppliers.
The tariffs will also have an impact on the broader economy.
Korean exports of automobiles to the United States is about 2% of Korean GDP, so it will definitely have an effect.
South Korea had hoped its close relationship with the US might lead to exemptions.
I don't think emphasis on alliances will work because I think this administration looks at alliances very badly.
Attempts by car makers like Hyundai to accommodate President Trump's import agenda have so far come to nothing.
Hyundai will be among the hardest hit global automakers, despite announcing a $21 billion investment in the US just 2 days before Trump announced the new tariffs.
That investment, which includes a steel mill, comes on top of 3 production plants the company has already built in the US. Instead of earning South Korea concessions, Trump held up the investments as proof his tariffs work. The government in Seoul is still scrambling for a response strategy.
At this moment, our mission is to protect the safety of the people, secure national interests during the trade war, and swiftly devise solutions to pressing national issues through cooperation with the National Assembly.
So far, there's no talk of economic retaliation. Total annual exports to the US are estimated at about 9% of GDP. So the government likely feels it has to tread lightly. Jack Barton, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
A leaking gas pipe has sparked a huge fire on the outskirts of Malaysia's capital, Kuala Lumpur, injuring at least 145 people. Hundreds have been evacuated. Al Jazeera's Charlie Angelico reports.
Flames up to 20 stories high, showering debris and shattering windows. That's what residents in Puchong saw when a fire broke out at a gas pipeline operated by Petronas.
Around 9 o'clock we started smelling a strong burnt odour. Then I saw a red glow moving around. At that moment I wasn't sure if it was a fire because I kept hearing things falling, glass, stones, all crashing in.
Some residents were trapped in their homes, others were evacuated to a nearby mosque, and more to hospital to be treated for burns and breathing problems.
The first victim that came to us is two boy with burn at the back behind. So the doctors treated. That is why it's good that they have the doctor here. They treated him first, and then the ambulance came and we actually transferred them to hospital.
The fire raged for hours before being brought under control. It's estimated 190 homes were damaged. The government has assumed full responsibility and promised financial assistance to those affected. Charlie Angela, Al Jazeera.
Finally, China has launched a new round of military exercises around Taiwan in its latest warning to the island's democratic government. China considers Taiwan a self-ruled democracy, part of its territory, and has pledged to take control of the island by force if necessary. Al Jazeera's Catherine Eve reports.
China's Army, Air Force, and Navy join forces to launch military drills around Taiwan. The Eastern Theater Command says it's closing in on the island from multiple directions, sending a clear message to its democratically elected government. Any push for independence will lead to war.
Their exercise sends a stern warning to the Taiwan authorities. The more they pursue their separatist agenda, the further the People's Liberation Army will advance its actions.
China believes Taiwan is a breakaway province and has not ruled out the use of force to get it back. Beijing says its leader, Lai Ching-te, is a separatist and released propaganda videos calling him a parasite who is poisoning Taiwan. Lai referred to China as a hostile foreign force last month and says Taiwanese people should be free to decide their own fate.
China openly challenges the international order and is widely recognized by the international community as a troublemaker.
Taiwan's military responded by dispatching its own fighter jets. Its navy is tracking the Chinese fleet of more than 10 ships, including aircraft carrier Shandong. Beijing's ramping up of military drills against Taipei includes sending fighter jets and war vessels toward the island nearly every day. Taipei believes the exercises are a show of strength that challenge both Taiwan and the United States. U.S. Defense Chief Pete Hegseth visited Asia last week and said the U.S. would work with regional allies to counter what he described as Chinese aggression. Taipei relies on Washington for its security and has watched nervously as President Donald Trump undermines traditional allies with his America First policy. It's raised questions as to what extent the U.S. will come to Taiwan's aid if China launches an offensive. In a statement, the American Institute in Taiwan said it will continue to support the island and has called the Chinese drills irresponsible threats. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's FTV2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.